Hi, everybody. I hope you all had a great week. I had a good week. Actually, Ben played baseball this week with us, and it was fantastic. I look back a year ago at this time, and he wouldn't even come to a game, let alone playing baseball. So that's how far he's come. I remember last summer playing ball and knowing he was in the hospital. So, yay, we've come a long way. Today, I wanted to talk about being a mom. And, I was going to do one just on being an addict's mom or a person with mental illness. But, being a mom, I look back and I think, would I have changed anything in my kid's past life? In that, do I think it would have been different today? And I've been reflecting, and I look at both my kids. I have two kids, Ben, who's 22, and his older sister, who's actually going to be 26 this year. It's hard to believe. Where does the time go? And I look at the two of them and how different they are, and all their similarities. And I wonder if I would have changed anything. I don't think I would have. I see, being a mom, you're a mom the minute you're pregnant. You are growing a baby for 9 months or less or more, depending. And you are attached to that soul before it's even born. And, as a mom, we sacrifice for our kids, and we have unconditional love for our children. And I look back on how I raised my kids, and I think that I did a lot of things the right way. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I look at what is working with Ben today. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, when we're raising our children, we're actually raising adults. When we have our baby in our hand, when they're first born, all we want is health and happiness. We want a healthy baby, and we want them to be happy, and we nurture them, and we raise what we want is independent adults. And I look back and I'm thinking, what helped me with Ben and all his issues? And actually, what are the differences between Ben and his sister? And I've mentioned this in the past. Number one, their birth was completely different. Lindsay was a C-section. Ben, as I described in Ben's history, it was a really tough birth. He came out blue, and it was not good. I mean, you can look back at the other video. So that was a difference. They came into this world completely different. The thing I find interesting looking back, when I was pregnant with my daughter, there was a lot of activity and moving around. Ben, not as much. Yet when Ben came into this world, he was a go, 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 go. He was full of energy every day, every minute. So, I'm just comparing them. And, I'm not that I'm comparing my kids, but I'm comparing their lives. And is there anything we could have done to prevent the way things have gone? With Ben, I don't think there was a way of preventing it. He never felt good. He never had that high self-esteem. He learned different, where his sister didn't have the same struggles that he did when she was in school. And she had more confidence within herself. So looking back, I think the birth really made a difference. That being said, now being a mom, raising them, I raised them exactly the same. If I was to go back, the things that I think I did well was that I listened to them when they spoke and they told their stories. I didn't interrupt their stories, and that was a big one. I got more information. The more I let them talk, the more information I got. Another thing that I did when they were growing up, that I do to this day, that I think has helped, is that when they would tell me something that I knew was difficult for them to share, I never overreacted or reacted. I just listened. Inside, I may be reacting, but I didn't overreact. And that brings me to the future with Ben. He has told me things that not any parent really wants to hear. I think back, there was one hospitalization, and let's get real. He had overdosed. He almost died. I found out that they had found morphine and fentanyl in his system. And when he came through, and he had some heart damage at this point, I said, do you know what they found in your system? And he's like, what? And I said, they found morphine and fentanyl. And Ben's reaction, this was last year, said, oh, I thought I was doing heroin. Inside, I'm freaking out, but I didn't overreact as in, what the hell were you thinking, blah, blah, blah. Instead, what I said was, ooh, that's scary. You think you're doing one thing, yet you're doing another thing. So I approached it totally different. And I'm just giving that as an example. I mean, that's stuff we don't want to hear. But I guess my thing is information is power. And Ben has always shared things. Of course, I never condoned any of it. But I'm glad that he felt he could tell me. Because it helps me to help him. And I'm happy to say that was a long time ago. And I'm just telling you this because I believe that Ben shared with me many things over the years because I did not overreact. So, for all you new parents raising babies into independent, responsible adults, if you were to ask my advice, that would be key. Listening to your kids and not overreacting. Another thing is meeting their friends. I was very fortunate that I was able to volunteer in their class. And so I always met their friends. And, I never judged them. I never told them that I didn't like their friends. I made them choose their own friends. You try to sway them towards kids that might be better for them. But with Ben, when he was a full-blown addict, he had friends that were not the best of friends. But I never told him not to hang out with them. I would approach it differently. That being said, I got to know a lot of those friends. He introduced me to those friends. He knew I wouldn't judge his friends. We're not here to judge people. We're here to learn and love. So get to know your kids' friends. Listen to them when they're talking. Don't interrupt them. Don't overreact. And another thing is stick to your word. If you say no to something and they start begging and begging and begging and finally you give in, well, then you're teaching them that the more they complain or the more they bug you, the more chance that you're going to change your mind. If they wanted an answer right away and I couldn't give them a definitive answer, I'd say, I don't know right now. And well, they would be persistent and want an answer. And it's like, well, if you want an answer now, the answer will be no. But if you give me time to think it through, it may be yes, I don't know. So it's sticking to your guns. If you say no, stick to no. If you're not sure, then say, I need time to think about it. And I'm saying this because going through what I've gone through with Ben, that made a difference because he knew if I said no, stop bothering me. I'm not going to change my mind. And it would get to a point where it's like, I would joke with them and say, well, nothing's changed since yesterday. It's the same rules. Did you just meet me? That's a joke. But anyway, so these are just a few things that have helped me with Ben in recent times is the way that I raised my children. And, I'm not saying that this is the be all and end all. There are books out there that we could read. It's funny how we need a license to go fishing, but we don't need one to parent. I don't know about any of you people out there that are parents or new parents. Gestation, I think, is 9 months for a reason because you have to wrap your head around that you are growing this human being and you are going to be responsible for this human being for the rest of their lives. Anyway, that is life of an addict. I mean, being a mom, as you know, is the hardest job ever. And then if you have a child who has addiction issues or mental illness or any special needs, God bless you all, because it is harder than hard. It is the most challenging thing I've ever had to deal with in my whole entire life. I continue to work with Ben and moving forward, because we have these babies that we raise as adults, and all we want is for them to be independent, responsible adults, and happy. And that's what we're working towards with Ben. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight, because I know there are a lot of parents out there. I say being a mom is the hardest job in the world. I'm sure being a dad is just as hard. I'm only speaking from my experience, what has worked for me in the way I raised my children, and bringing in ahead 22, 26 years. I feel very blessed that both my children, or adults, children, come to me and chat with me. So, yes. Thank you for listening. I love your comments. I love your perspective. And if you have any ideas of a future topic, let me know. I'm open. I send you all lots of love. Keep the spirit to live. And remember, where there is breath, there is hope. Peace and love to all. Take care.